I have 2 young daughters. I have a 7 and a 6-year-old. Aiza and Iman. My wife is a doctor, physician. She's my business partner in the med spa. We're grinding. We're both. I have a real estate business. I have the podcast. I'm traveling. And people sometimes say to me, like, hey, man, like your wife and you are not giving the kids enough time. I think the kids are watching us. They were there last night at the grand opening. They cut the ribbon with us. They're watching us on the phone. They're running around. Like, what do you think about that? You think I'm doing a disservice? My wife is doing a disservice? Look at you, right?
No, because it's like, it's the whole idea of like the biggest child neglect is raising kids and telling your son and daughter, you can go be anybody you want to be and do whatever you want to go do. And then they look at you and they're like, well, Dad, why didn't you? Mom, why didn't you? So, for me, like seeing is believing. People do what they see, not always what mom and dad, comes out of their mouth. So I think by you and your wife leading by example and showing the kids, like, we're doing this, we're doing that. I got the show. I'm traveling here. I'm doing that. I got a med spa. I'm doing real estate, right? Your mom's a doctor. That's obviously a big deal as well, right? So I think them seeing all of that, they're probably learning more from seeing you guys operate, coexist, and thrive together, more so than just sitting them down and just spraying words at them constantly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good to know. How are you? Well, before I get into that. They say that between 0 and 7, your brain is very vulnerable. What the mom and dad say, I think I even learned it from you. If a parent talk about money won't grow on trees, money's tight, the kid is programming the subconscious. What do you think about that? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I was told that by my mentor, Bob Proctor, right? So he coached me from 2011 to him passing away in 2020. And what happened was his wife was in my first company and we met. I was making $400 a month. And then through his mentorship and me working my ass off and doing what I needed to do, I became the youngest and fastest ever to make $1 million. And I didn't know how I did it. So he asked me, like, this is how the whole thing happened. He goes, why were you able to make $1 million faster than everybody else? And I couldn't answer. I said, well, I work really hard. And he said, are you the only hard worker in the company? I said, obviously no. Right? And then I said, I have really good parents. And he said, you think you're the only kid in the company with, a good mom and dad? I said, obviously no. She said, you don't even know how you did it. So he said, come to Toronto with me, come spend a week with me at his, the Matrix event. It was like $20,000 a ticket. I went up there for 7 days and I found out what happened to me. And it was this whole idea of my paradigm shifted and my business and my life completely changed. So you're right. When a kid is born from 0 to, some say 7, some say 9, that subconscious mind is wide open. So you're planting seeds of your kid's future from 0 to 9. So if a kid grows up in a house where mom and dad are fighting and bitching about bills and there's too much month at the end of the money left over, right? And turn off the lights, save money here and do this and do that. They're growing up with a scarcity mindset. So flip side, a kid grows up in a house where it's about abundance, it's prosperity, it's about capitalism, it's about you can be who you want to be, and your grades don't define who you are as a person. And so it's a big deal. It is a big deal because then what happens is these kids grow up and they go to a business opportunity meeting. And, within the first 5 minutes, this paradigm creeps in and says, you can't do what he's doing. You can't sell houses like him. You can't do a podcast like her because you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not bright enough, right? And so the paradigm holds us back from doing everything. The paradigm controls our habits, our belief systems, everything. And then you meet people in their 50s and 60s, and they're still holding on to these ideas that were given to them by their parents. Most of the ideas we have, they're not even our own ideas. They've been passed down from generation to generation to generation. That's why they say, like, in America, the average welfare recipient is 3rd generation. Why? Well, grandpa was on welfare. Daddy was on welfare. So what's the kid going to grow up and be? He's going to be on welfare. So to change the family tree, you start with the newborn kid and program these kids the right way.
That's insane.